I'm just trying to explain what a cumulative test does to your grade. You already got an A on the first test. Now then, let's say I give today's test back and you have an A, and then you get a B on the cumulative test. What do you think that the average is there? Just what's your best guess? Is this still an A? No, it probably dropped a little bit, right? Probably A minus? Yeah, it's probably an A minus. All right, so your grade could go down based on this cumulative test that we're about to take, if some of you have straight A's. But your grade could also go up dramatically if you're in this situation. Let's say that you had a B on your first test. Let's say that this test I'm just giving you back today, let's say you got a C. Okay, and all of a sudden on the cumulative test, and this is a big as long as you did corrections on these two, which you should do today, if you get an A then on both parts of the cumulative test, that shows you got it now. You've mastered it. And that counts as a retake of this one and this one. Do you get a kid that had a B and a C on the first two tests could actually do better than the kid who got A's on the first two tests? So moral of the story is the cumulative tests are very powerful. They can take a kid that was gonna get a mediocre grade, and all of a sudden, boom, you got 3 A's in the grade book, because this would be an A, and this would be an A, and this would be an A. But you really need to hear this part only if you did the corrections. Okay, because if you have a B on the test and you don't do the corrections, well, then you haven't earned the right to have a retake of that test. That's your only ticket. It's not too expensive. It's just go fix a few problems. That's not hard to do. All right, so give you one last scenario. You got a B on the first test, you get a C on today's test, and then you don't really practice real hard. You just kind of like, I'll do it, I suppose. I'll do some corrections, but I don't really know what I'm doing, but I did it. And then you get a C on the third test. Now your average is like a C+. Okay, could have been a straight A if you'd have just tried harder for this test, and you end up with a C+ average on 3 tests. It'd be the same as if you had a C+ on all 3 tests. See how this third cumulative test is a big deal? It really is. It can totally change a kid from having a C+ average to a straight A average, and they'll have the weight of 3 tests. Like, because there's the first test, the second test, and the retake, cumulative counts as a third test. So this is the one you want, of course, is, no, not, you actually want this one. Or even better would be you had 2 straight A's and you get another A and you confirm it, and now you got all 3 A's. Because obviously, if you can have 3 A's in the grade book after the cumulative, that's a really good deal. Okay, and it's conferences next week. So this is like perfect time. You really want to have a good test here on the cumulative, because you can make up for having some bad tests before with one good test, and it's on Tuesday of next week, and conferences are on Thursday and Friday. All right, so let's take this really seriously, and here's how you're going to get ready for that cumulative. There is a practice cumulative test, which is also going to count as homework. It's in the folder for today. So today's date is October 3rd. You'll find the October 3rd folder. Open it up. There is a practice cumulative in there. Do the practice cumulative. But I'm also going to hand back your test. And if you had a B, I would do corrections even on a B. Because what if you get an A on the cumulative? I'm going to look back and see, did the kid do the corrections on their B? Nope, they didn't. Well, then they don't get to raise it. Only way you get to raise your score is if you took the time to do the corrections. All right. So unless you had a straight A today, and I'm giving the test back. If you had a straight A, then don't worry about it. But if you had a B even, I would do the corrections so that if the cumulative test goes well, all of a sudden you could have 3 A's in your grade. All right. So please take a moment, open up that practice cumulative test, get it up on your iPad, turn it my way so I can see that everybody is in the cumulative practice test. So far I've checked, okay, yes, and I'm at almost everybody. Okay, see, Good. Find the cumulative test, work on that until you hear your name called, and then I'm going to give you your test back. If you got an A, yay, no more work to do. If you got a B, I would do corrections, because it's very possible on the second try on this test that you'll do better and you get the A. And you'll be ticked later if you can't raise that score. And I have made it very clear, you have to do corrections if you want your score to go up. All right, and the rest of today is just you working on that cumulative test and getting your test back. All right, that's all I got for you for today.